Imagine for a second that you're just doing the right thing at work. You spot something that's not quite right, something that breaks the rules, so you report it. This is the true story of Kamaljit Chudi, a Royal Mail employee whose life was turned completely upside down by a single HR complaint. This is a wild story about how a manager's cover-up and a company's failure to protect a whistleblower led to a landmark Supreme Court case, a big payout, and shattered trust. This is how a simple HR issue became a national scandal. Your boss turns on you, your career is systematically dismantled, and you find yourself fighting a lonely, years-long legal battle that climbs all the way to the highest court in the land. You put your faith in the system, in your manager, and in the company's own policies to have your back. Trusting a referee to call a foul can feel risky, right? Now picture that one honest moment, flipping your life upside down. This isn't some wild thriller novel. In September 2013, Kamaljit Chudi scored an awesome job as a media specialist with Royal Mail's marketing team. With a solid £50,000 salary plus bonuses, it felt like a dream job at a well-established company. She was on a 6-month trial, ready to prove herself, but it didn't take long for her to sense something was off. Just a month into the job, Ms. Chudi started to suspect a colleague was cheating the system to earn their bonuses. The company had a bonus program called tailor-made incentives. Think of it like a gym's new members-only discount to attract fresh business. But Ms. Chudi thought existing clients were getting these deals, which goes against AFCOM rules. In simple terms, she thought the company was misusing its own incentives, that her colleague and perhaps even her manager were cashing in on it. Believing she was doing the right thing for Royal Mail, Ms. Chudi did what you'd expect any diligent employee to do. She told her boss, a manager named Mike Widmer. In a series of emails in early November 2013, she laid out her suspicions, flagging what she saw as a major compliance problem. She trusted him to investigate, trusted the company's whistleblower policy, and trusted that it would all be handled by the book. She couldn't have been more wrong. Instead of a thank you for your diligence, Kamaljit Chudi was met with pure hostility. Her manager, Mr. Widmer, called her into a meeting. But this wasn't about getting to the bottom of things. Feeling cornered and scared of losing her job, Ms. Chudi asked her manager for advice. He told her to email a retraction, saying she'd just misunderstood the rules. That retraction kicked off a nasty revenge campaign. Suddenly, Mr. Widmer started nitpicking Ms. Chudi's performance, drowning her in a performance plan with impossible goals. This wasn't a fair assessment. It was like a rigged game where the finish line is moved further away every time you start to run. He demanded she hand over all her key contacts from her old job and forced her into intense weekly meetings where he tore her work apart. This pattern of bullying was designed to do one thing: create a paper trail of lies to justify firing her. The pressure really got to Ms. Chudi. By January 2014, she was stressed and anxious from work. In February, she told HR she felt targeted over the TMI issue. Instead of stepping in, the company just assigned her a new manager and slapped her with another performance plan, making it clear that failure meant she was out. The message was obvious. They were backing the manager, not the whistleblower. By March 2014, things had gotten really tough. Her doctor took her off work due to severe depression, anxiety, and stress. She knew she could never return to Royal Mail. While she was on sick leave, Royal Mail decided it was time to terminate her employment, but they had to make it look clean. They brought in another manager, Pauline Vickers, who knew nothing about the whistleblowing, to handle the dismissal. HR handed her a file, but skipped the important emails where Ms. Chudi raised her concerns, only showing Mr. Widmer's side. Too sick to attend any meetings, Ms. Chudi tried to explain her side in emails to Ms. Vickers, mentioning she'd been targeted for telling the truth. When Ms. Vickers asked Mr. Widmer about this, he just brushed it off, saying Ms. Chudi had misunderstood and showed the retraction email as proof. He painted her as a confused underperformer. Believing this twisted version of events, Ms. Vickers fired Kamaljit Chudi in October 2014 for poor performance, and that's when the legal battle began. In 2015, Ms. Chudi took Royal Mail to the Employment Tribunal. At first, it was only a partial win. The tribunal agreed she had suffered detriments, the bullying, and impossible targets for blowing the whistle. But it threw out her claim for unfair dismissal. Why? The logic was that the person who fired her, Ms. Vickers, was innocent. because she genuinely believed the fake story. This created a giant loophole. It was like a puppet show. A manager could act as a puppet master, pulling the strings of an unknowing decision-maker to fire a whistleblower, and the law would only look at the puppet, not the one controlling it. Miss Judy wasn't backing down. She appealed, and her case trudged through the British legal system. The Employment Appeal Tribunal was on her side, but then the Court of Appeal favored Royal Mail. For most people, that would have been it. But Kamaljit Judy, with her health and finances in ruins, refused to back down. She took her fight to the very last stop, the UK Supreme Court. In November 2019, the UK Supreme Court made a huge ruling in the case of Royal Mail Group Ltd versus Judy. The big question was, if a sneaky manager tricks someone into firing an employee, what's the real reason for that firing? Is it the fake excuse given to the decision-maker, or the hidden motive behind it all? The Supreme Court's answer was unanimous and refreshingly clear. In a judgment from Lord Wilson, the court said that legal technicalities shouldn't beat industrial realities and common sense. He argued that when a court looks for the reason for a dismissal, it has a duty to penetrate through the invention. In other words, you have to look behind the curtain for the puppet master. If someone in the company cooks up a phony reason to hide an illegal one, the law has to recognize the hidden, true reason as the cause. The court ruled that the dishonest manager's intentions could be attributed to the company. Royal Mail couldn't hide behind the manipulated ignorance of its own decision-maker. Ms. Vickers got tricked and the company was to blame. The Supreme Court stepped in, saying Kamaljit Judy's firing was unfair, since she was just blowing the whistle. A big win for whistleblowers everywhere. The Supreme Court's decision finally delivered the justice Ms. Judy had fought for over 6 long years. But the personal cost was staggering. The years of stress and legal battles really took a toll on her health. Reports showed she suffered severe PTSD from her time at Royal Mail, and experts doubt she can ever work again. With the legal battle finally over, the case returned to the Employment Tribunal to sort out compensation. After more back and forth, in 2023, the tribunal ordered Royal Mail to pay Ms. Judy an astonishing £2,365,614. For Royal Mail, the financial hit was massive, but the damage to its reputation was just as bad. The case laid bare a toxic culture where a manager could bully and lie without consequence, and where HR systems failed at every turn. After the Supreme Court ruling, Royal Mail issued a statement expressing disappointment and pointing to its Speak Up hotline, but the damage was already done. The Judy case became a textbook example of exactly how not to handle a whistleblower. Kamaljit Judy's story is a powerful reminder of just how much courage it takes to speak up, and the devastating fallout when companies refuse to listen. It really makes you think about corporate culture and who's held accountable. What are your thoughts? Have you ever seen a situation where someone was punished for doing the right thing? Drop a comment below, I'd love to hear your take. And if you think these deep dives into corporate scandals are important, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss what's next. So what's the big takeaway from this decade-long corporate and legal mess? The Supreme Court's ruling in Royal Mail versus Judy is so much more than one woman's fight. It set a massive legal precedent. It slammed shut a dangerous loophole that could have let companies engineer the firing of whistleblowers just by keeping the final decision-maker out of the loop. The Judy principle now means that courts have to look behind the puppet show to find the puppet master, the person with the hidden legal motive. This case is a flashing red warning light for every HR department and every manager out there. A whistleblower policy is just a piece of paper. If it isn't backed up by real unbiased investigations, if just one person at Royal Mail had properly looked into Ms. Judy's initial concerns, or her later complaints of harassment, this whole disaster could have been avoided. Instead, a manager's lies were taken as truth, and a system meant to protect employees was weaponized to destroy one. The fallout for Royal Mail: millions in compensation, years of terrible press, and a permanently scarred reputation shows the price of getting it this wrong. Kamaljit Judy really paid the price for her integrity, losing her career and health. Her story shows how one person can stand strong against a corporate giant. It's a powerful reminder that the truth always finds a way to shine through, no matter what.